My name is Richard Casper. I'm a Marine Corps veteran, and I teach the course here at the School of the Art Institute of Chicago. This program started basically because after my injuries in war, I didn't know how to deal with myself. I came back, had a brain injury, my best friend was shot and killed. I didn't know myself at that point. Art has helped me by giving me a chance to have a voice again. I used to not be able to leave my house. I couldn't go talk to people. I would physically throw up and get sick. If you could be 0%, that's committing suicide, 100% being the best you can be. After the Marine Corps, after being injured, I was at probably like a 9 or a 10. And after this school, I was back to like 85% me. For people who may struggle like I did and didn't want to break out of the house and be like, I'm not sure if this is going to work, I just want them to know my story and be able to come out here and learn with other combat vets how to do art. And if they're looking for one more way, if they just come out here and give me a chance, it's going to be worth it.
What we were aiming for is to express what we were dealing with, when we were deployed and during our military career, where we literally get out of our element, go on this kind of like alternate reality to go back in time, think about what we went through, and express it to other people.
Just being exposed to different concepts of art, like at the museum and some of the contemporary art we saw, that's what influenced me to try doing a performance piece for my last project.
The opportunity to be at the school was just phenomenal. It was amazing. At lunch, we could go and wander the halls of the museums, and that was pretty awesome.
I think the hardest part was actually talking about what I've been through. It was easy talking to Richard because he is a combat veteran and he has been through stuff I've been through. And
my job was to, go find IEDs or find landmines or anti-personnel landmines and take them apart. And little did I know, I was putting that stuff inside me.
At first, it's a little hard to let yourself become vulnerable. You won't really know what to do right away. It takes a couple days. I know for me, it took a week.
Being surrounded by a bunch of veterans that know what combat feels like, knows the after effects of combat, knows how it feels to come home. It was really comfortable being here.
They're gonna come to class like normal college students, treated like normal people that know how to be like, I can be in college, I am a normal person, and I can live like everybody else lives. If even one of them chose to go to college and study art and has that artist brain to where it saved them, it's totally worth it.
Alrighty. Happy Friday. We got some people on Mixer, on Facebook, on YouTube. We're going to be doing some painting today. If you are jumping on, it's your first time with us, my name is Garrett Leo. I'm the art director for CreatiVets. I'm going to go over some mixed media painting today. I had planned on doing a lot of different types of paint and going outside, maybe doing some spray painting. But it's snow raining in Chicago right now. So that's not fun. I'm not going outside in the snow rain. It'll destroy my painting. So we're gonna make do with what I got. Just make sure I got all my chat and stuff up. No band I'm repping it. No, I'm not wearing it was cold when I woke up, Kyle, so I put on a long sleeve. You see that? No band though. Hold on. No, I don't have any gear here. Yeah, so I'm just adjusting my screens and things. Okay. Yeah, so what's going on, Mrs. OEF? Hosting my stream, thank you. But yeah, so I originally planned on doing I was gonna try to figure out how to go mobile with the streaming stuff, but yeah, it's terrible weather. It's snowing, raining. It's been doing that since last night. So I have quite a bit of materials here. This is here because I'm gonna do a painting. I'm gonna pick one of the toy soldiers that I drew, and I'm gonna paint it. So let's go over materials real quick. I did have this huge bag of acrylic paints, and I know Zachary had talked about acrylics in one of his streams, but I remember I gave them to my mother to, what was she going to paint? She's going to paint like a pot or something? I don't know. She made those salt dough things, the little sculptures. She made little eyeballs and she wanted to paint it, so I left my entire bag of acrylic paints at her house. So I will not be using acrylic paint today. I will be using some Winsor Newton, let's show this, some Winsor Newton water mixable oil colors. Now, let's talk about that for a second. So watercolors, or oil colors, I'm using oil paint today. Usually you have to use turpentine or turpenoid. Turpenoid is like not turpentine, but it works like turpentine. And oil paint is something that lasts, like that's like what the fancy Italians used to paint with. So the oil paint lasts for a couple days. You can keep adding to it because it stays fresh. It doesn't dry super fast like acrylic. Not all acrylic, but most acrylic. So I don't have any turpenoid or anything, but I do have this set of acrylic paints. Oil paints. I keep mixing it up. I have this set of oil paints. I won this on a raffle. Fun story. But these are water mixable, so I don't need the turpenoid to break down the paint. Usually you do need that, and that stuff isn't fun to work with for me. So this is actually really cool that I can just use water. It works like acrylic, but the paint stays wet for a long time, so I can keep working on it. So if you do work with some oil paints, this paint should be fine as far as like fumes go, but I remember when I painted with real oil paints, sometimes there's a lot of fumes that go with it, so just make sure you're in a big room, not like my little tiny office. Probably wouldn't be best if I was using like official oil paints that were not water soluble. So I'll be using these. I'll go over I'll be mixing some paint today. These are all the basic colors that it comes with, but I'll be mixing them and combining them to get the colors that I want. I took one painting class in my time at the School of the Art Institute of Chicago. So it was a color mixing painting class, so I feel pretty confident there. Pretty confident. I'll be painting on a canvas board. This is just Blick brand. There you go. So this is just a canvas board. It's got like the nice canvas texture. It's pre-gessoed. So if you are new to painting, gesso is the base layer of sealant for the canvas. Right? You can have white gesso. There's also black gesso, but I'm using the white gesso board. I have my cup of water. Put that there. I have an arrangement of paintbrushes. Now I'm working on I think this is 8.5 by 11. So relatively small canvas. So I picked some smaller brushes. I have a couple that are big that I might use to fill in some spaces of color, but that's pretty much it. And I have my palette knives. Now I'm super glad that I found these because I was using, is it out here? No. I was using this really gross plastic one. These are nice and metal. So what palette knives are used for is I'm gonna have my palette, which is this pane of glass. I'll talk about why I'm using that in a second. So that's where I'm gonna squeeze out all the paint. I'm gonna take this and kind of like scoop it, spread it, mix it. Some of these are stiffer, some of them are looser, and that's just for mixing paint. And I can even apply this, like I could scoop up some paint and apply it to my board. Now, if you're a fan of, the man, Mr. Bob Ross, he used oil paints. So a lot of these colors that I'm using are some of the colors he used. So if I wanted to, I could do a paint with Bob Ross. That'd be pretty fun. But I'm not doing that today. I'm going to do the toy soldier because I just want to get into painting. This is the first painting I've done under quarantine, so let's get to it. So those are the palette knives. For my palette, I'm just using this like little pane of glass. You don't have to go and buy some fancy palette. You can literally just get a piece of glass like this. What's going on, Rick? Just subscribe. Thank you. So I'm using just a regular pane of glass that I have. It's got soft rounded edges, so it's not sharp. Trick, if you have a pane of glass that does not have super smooth edges like this piece, just duct tape it. That's what I did when I was in school. That's what my professor taught me. Just duct tape the edge. So I had this big circle piece of glass and I just taped the entire edge. So the reason we use the glass is because we could mix it. I can see the colors mixing, right? This tool I will not use today. I used it this morning. This is just a little X-Acto blade, like a little tool. So what I use this for is when I'm done painting, I'll actually scrape some off the back. So if I've got the dried paint there, you just take this. That's not coming off. Do I have anything that I could scrape off? Yeah. You just take this and then you could scrape off all that extra junk paint. So I didn't want to have to scrape the paint off to start, but this whole thing was covered with paint. The last time I used it, I did not clean it. So I cleaned it this morning. Any questions before I get started? Yes? No? Who was all in here for the workout stream? Anyone watch that? I'm gonna put my palette here. Ooh, sorry for the noise. I'll put my palette here so you can see me mix colors. I'm gonna put it like there. Right there. Don't need this tool anymore. I'm not gonna use it today. I'll put this away. Ooh. Okay. So again, I'm using a water-soluble paint. So all I need is my water, my paint, my brushes, and my palette knives. Palette knives for mixing. Shout out to Mike FX for the cool cup. All right. What I'm gonna do, I like to do a little sketch before I start working. So I'm gonna do a little sketch on the canvas board, just real lightly with my just regular. This is just, I got it from Blake. Just regular two pencil. Seth said I'm gonna go back after this one and catch the replay. Woke up late today. Right on, Seth. Right on. Okay, so I'm gonna pick one of these and I'm going to paint it. And I'll do some with it. I don't know what. Which one do I want to do? Maybe do the paintbrush one. Paintbrush one? Cowbell one. I'll just do hardest decision right now. I'll do the paintbrush. Now you can do, I think I talked about this when I did the watercolor one, doing an underpainting, so like you don't have to sketch it out in pencil. I like doing that. That's up to me. Seth said paintbrush. Look at that. Great minds think alike. Yeah, so I like doing a little pencil sketch. I wouldn't call my practice being a painter, so some painters are probably cringing right now that I'm using a pencil, but you know, deal with it. I don't know what to tell you. Deal with it. That's the cool thing about, you know, when you're making art. Do whatever you want. You know, there's tradition and there's, you know, how things are supposed to be done, and then there's your way. Right? Do it your way. Now, I'm not going to get super detailed with this because I'm going to end up painting over it. But I'm just trying to get my proportions right. When I did the... Lily says hello from Chicago. Hello, Lily. That's my grandma. Thank you, Grandma. When I did these drawings, I sketched them in the... If you've been watching my... ink drawing streams, I did it with the blue pencil, the fancy non-photo blue pencil, and then I inked it, and I have those originals here somewhere. If you haven't heard my story, I just recently moved. Well, not recently anymore. I've been in quarantine for 5 years. Okay, that looks pretty good. I'll show you what I'm working on. Just getting the proportions right of his posture. I'm painting. Ooh, paintbrushes everywhere. Painting this this bad boy right there, right? If you don't have one of these prints, DM me on Instagram. I've got more. I can ship it out to you. I got the packages. I got everything in my house. Nothing is left. The post office is still open. So yeah, if you're interested in acquiring one of these CreatiVets prints, we work together as a good old team to make it. Well, I drew a lot, all of it, but the idea was a collaborative effort. We all worked it out together. Okay. Again, I said I'm not going to go super detailed, but I do need to draw all the parts of the soldier, the toy soldier. So not going into detail, meaning like it doesn't have to be perfect when I draw it, but boom. Got the little head on there. Yeah, I woke up this morning and, well, I was up late last night. And I saw that it had started to snow. Didn't expect to wake up to it continuing to snow. But, you know, what can you do? What can you do? That's Chicago. It was like 80 degrees the other day, and now it's snowing. So, working on his leg proportions, getting it all sketched in there. I did a pretty good job arranging this, if I don't say so myself, because usually I like make it too big and then it goes off my paper, so I'm proud of that. His legs look broken. How did I, that's such a weird angle I drew this at. Okay, we'll go with that. It's a little too low for my liking, but there's nothing I can do about that now. I'd have to start over, and I don't want to. Boom. Maybe I'll put something at the top. Maybe put some stars at the top. Ooh, I got an idea. I know what I'm doing. Alright. I gotta Google a picture. Stretch Armstrong soldier. Yeah, honestly, look at his leg. It's like stretch, but like look at how I originally drew it. It looks better when I did it with ink. See, his leg is also stretched back. Whatever. Like I said, well, it doesn't have to be perfect. When I paint it, I'll fix it. I'm gonna Google a picture of the Chicago Star. I need to know how big it is, or like how. There we go. I know it's got the 6 points, but okay. Here we go. I'm gonna put the Chicago Star at the top. Like 4 across, because my composition needs something at the top. It's not balanced. Everything's too close to the bottom. So I'm gonna put the 4 stars up at the top. Do a little shout out to Chicago. So I drew some circles just because I want to try to space out where the star is gonna go. Again, It's not going to be perfect right now, but I'll get it perfect later. or I'll get it to where I want it to be later. Let's see. Now, as you can see, this is probably why painters don't do it. I'm touching the graphite from the pencil and I'm smearing it all over the place. But like I said, I prefer, like, I work better if I've got something to go off of. Okay, and then down here, I gotta do his. Whoa, we got some people joining on Facebook. What's going on? Where's my chat? There's my chat. Okay. Let me add my... Toy Soldier Stand. There we go. That looks pretty good. Now I like it a little bit better. It's just got the, 4 stars at the top. They're not completely lined up, but when I paint it, I will fix it. Okay, so now it's been a minute since I've painted like this, so we're gonna go for it. We're gonna just wing it. So I've got my. Oh, I'll leave that there so you can see me mix. I'm gonna paint the background first. As a painter, Mrs. OEF says, nice, thank you. I'm going to paint the background first. I'm going to try to make like a Chicago light blue. So I'm going to mix my cerulean blue and my titanium white. Now hold on. I've got this other big bag of paints that I might bust into, but those are like real oil paints. I don't know if I can mix these. We might. So just a little trick for painting, mixing. It is easier now that this is something else. I got like a million things I want to say. What? Thanks for the gift. Thanks for the sparks. When you're mixing paint, it is easier to make things darker than light. So when you mix things, I've got a little bit of blue. You can see my light. A little bit of white. I'm gonna need a lot more than that. I'm gonna squeeze some more white in there. So it's easier to make things darker. So what you need to do is you need to add the dark to the light color. Always when you're mixing. Now I'm going to explain that. If I take a little bit of white and add it to that blue and try to make that light blue, I'm going to use that entire tube of white, right? Because that blue has all these, has all the blue pigment in it, which makes it super strong, okay? So if I take the white and add it to the blue, I'm going to keep adding and adding and adding and adding. What you need to do is you need to take your dark and add it to the light. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take like a little tiny bit. I'm going to try to get. So just, you can see it's barely on my palette, but I do have a little bit. And I'm going to mix it. Now, I used the tiny one. I'm going to use the big boy to mix this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to make a Chicago blue for the background. The stars will be red. And then the soldier, I'll do green. Right? Great info. Thank you. So again, like you can't really see it on the camera. It's slightly blue. I'm going to take a little bit more. Mix it. Now I'm mixing a lot because I have this whole background of paint. I want to make sure I can paint the whole thing. And if you end up making a color you like let's say I really like this like super subtle blue-white, take some of it, put it to the side, right? I've got this whole palette, I'm gonna fill it up. Now I will probably need to get a paper towel at some point. To clean my palette if I run out of space. So now it's getting a little bit lighter. I'm liking the colors a little bit more, right? I want it to be blue, so I'm taking all that blue. There we go. Super nice. Do I have any other blues? Yeah, we'll try another blue. Why not? This is a French ultramarine. Now this stuff's strong, so not gonna use a lot of this one. A little tiny bit. Just add it in there. Little tiny bit. Little bit. Yeah, see that little bit changed my color immediately, right? So again, if you're trying to change that blue to a light blue by adding white to it, you'd be here all day, and you'd be out of paint. All right, I think it needs more of the cerulean blue. This is gonna be a paint mixing stream. Paint, you can do like Zachary said, you mix paint all day long and get a million colors. And I think he only used like 5 or something for his demo. If you haven't seen that stream, it was very interesting. If you're just like interested in the science, the class behind mixing paint, the theory, go watch that stream. I think he called it color mixing with Zachary Burgard. Okay, that's good, but it's not as like bright as I want. I don't want to add that. I don't trust that. No, I don't need more of that. Thank you, Seth. Yeah, if anyone has any questions about any of what I'm doing or things they want to see me try with the paint, drop a comment. That's kind of leads me back to why we're doing this. You know, CreatiVets, our mission is to empower veterans to heal through arts and music. So we can't bring veterans out of their homes right now because we're all practicing social distancing, but we can get to you. So if you know anyone that would be interested, sorry, my air just kicked on, would be interested in watching any of these or signing up for one of our programs, you know, once the world goes back to normal. There we go. I'm going to bring another light up here. Share this with them. Yeah. Okay. Bring in another one of my lights because I can barely see my paint. Okay. All right. There we go. Now I can see the color. That color looks awesome. I need a paper towel. Do I have anything I can wipe it on? Nope. Hold on 1 second. Let me grab a paper towel. I'm back. Don't leave. All right. Do you one better? I got a little rag. Add that onto the supply list. A little rag. I think I use this for painting already. It's got like white paint all over it. Okay, back to mixing. I'm liking this this pale blue I got going. I'm gonna add a little bit more. Right, I want it to be a little bit more vibrant. I don't think I finished my thought. The last time I was using this paint was I made a painting of my grandparents' home in West Virginia, and I gifted it to them. I wanted to practice in painting, but I also wanted to make something for someone. So again, this is a great thing to do if you want to make something, give it to them, make them a painting. That's cool. Paint them, paint their pet, paint their house. Okay, I mean, that's pretty much it. Any comments? No. Okay, I like this color. Keep it there. I'm gonna take my rag and wipe off my palette knives. Like I said, this paint doesn't dry really fast. Honestly, it's going to take a couple days to dry. But I want to just make sure they're clean. And I will get that tool back up. I want to make sure they're clean so it doesn't mess up any future colors I'm making. I'm just going to take this is my X-Acto blade. Look at that. Clean mixing space. Just wipe that right on the rag. So we'll leave that out. Okay. So that'll be the background. Let's start applying it. Now again, this is water soluble, so I'm gonna take a little bit of water And what that's going to do is it's going to break it down and make it more fluid. And I don't want it super, like, I'm going to mix a lot of it, because if it's super thin, it won't coat the canvas the way I want it to. I want it to be the solid blue when I coat it. And I'm just going to apply it to my painting. So I'll move, you know what? You saw the mixing. I'll do a little shift every time I do something. I'll move this. Like this. Yeah, there you go. Okay. So I'm just going to apply painting. Now, again, I'm painting the background first. I'm just going to do a light blue, Chicago blue. I might go on top and add some other stuff, right? Like I said, this is mixed media. I might grab some things laying around the studio. This does stain clothes, so if you're going to paint, be careful. And a little bit more water. And that makes your paint go farther, right? That's what that turpenoid would be used for regular oil paint. It just makes your paint cover more area. I'm getting right up against that drawing, right? I don't think I ever took a picture of that painting that I did of my grandparents' house. I don't think I ever did that. I gotta check my phone. Because I'd like to post that. People can see it. Like I said, I am in no way a profesh painter, right? I know how to paint. But painting isn't what I like showing off. You know? That makes sense. I go about that with, like when I teach ceramics. I love hand building, right? Sculpting without like just your hands and tools, but throwing on a wheel, or like what Emily did in her stream. I know how to do that. I don't know if it's, you know, the greatest, so. The reason I'm painting the background first is because that's what I was told to do. Paint the background first. It's easier, so then I can, like, I'm making that line, right, on my painting where that toy soldier is. I can paint on top of that background color, and then I don't have to, like my background won't smudge the painting or the outline of my figure, right? So my green paint will go right on top of that blue, so I don't have to worry about the blue messing up the edge of my toy soldier. Okay, now over here. And again, I could switch to a smaller brush at any time I need, but I'm just, you know, applying a lot of paint right now. Flipping my now I have the luxury of being able to flip my canvas. I am not using a easel. So easel is a tool that you would use for painting and kind of prop up the painting so you can paint like this and set on a table. I'm doing this, one, because I don't have the setup to stream that, and two, I don't have an easel. Whenever I paint, I usually just paint on my desk. Again, there's ways that it helps you work as an artist, like the traditions, the techniques, but again, do whatever's comfortable for you. Like I said, when I was in school, I painted on easels, but when I'm at home, I prefer to just paint on my desk. Now, I do want to get like a little prop-up table thing, so it's still on my table. It's not like a freestanding easel, so maybe one day I'll do that. A little bit more water. Breaking up my paint. I'm gonna have to mix more paint. I can already tell. So I know what color I'm going for. I'll put some to the side and I'll just go for it. All right, now the bendy leg I made. Crazy. My hair is full on my face. I can feel it. Has anyone been doing any cool, people that are watching, any cool art stuff? I think I asked that every stream, but you know, you never know who's going to be on the stream. Anything new? What are people doing today besides watching me paint? Anyone gonna try anything fun? I'm already looking. You keep seeing me look down. I'm looking at my sleeve because I know I'm gonna get paint on it. Anyone got any cool Netflix shows they're watching? Binging? Anyone got any great books they're reading? Video games they're playing? I'm trying to do all that stuff. I'm pretty good at doing all that. I was entering my students' grades this morning. For school, I also teach elementary art. So I was entering those grades because those are due today. They're all uploaded. So if any of my students are watching, go check your grades. They're there. I'm really happy with not getting paint on myself yet. Usually when I paint, I have it all over myself by now. If you're liking this, Big Mike did some streams. Shout out to Big Mike, 610 Big Mike, I think is his Instagram. If you're interested in more painting, he was painting some shoes and cigar boxes. Go check out those streams. Those are super cool. Seth tried to make some salt dough and realized the stores have no baking goods left. Yeah, I mean, everything's gone. I saw someone post in like those Facebook neighborhood groups yesterday, and they like went to a Target that had just restocked things, so there was like full aisles of toilet paper and things. I was like, wow, that's crazy. Yeah, salt dough is fun. So maybe try ordering it online. I don't know, like maybe you can order from the store. So I don't know where you're at, but I know like Jewel in Chicago has like home delivery stuff. So maybe you could just like put in a pre-order. It's a ghost town. Yeah, it is a ghost town. I went out to take my trash out last night. Mind you, it was like 10:30, 11. But I live on a pretty busy street in Chicago. I live in Pilsen on 18th Street. And I went outside and there was like no one out. Like I just stopped and it was like dead silent. It was pretty bizarre. Pretty bizarre. Now, as far as coats go, I'm just gonna do one. I'm not gonna add layers. It's not like house painting, like painting walls. This stuff, as long as you don't make it too thin, you can just, go for it. Paint it, and it's done. I am gonna have to make more paint. As far as brushes go, like I said, I'm using just the ones that I have in the studio, because it's, make use of what you got. You can buy really fancy bristle brushes. Like you can buy a brush that's made with super fancy wood and bristles, and it's like $20, or you can buy a pack. It is completely up to you and your price range. Do what makes sense. I tend to just buy the packs, and again, that's because I am not a professional painter. Like this is not my go-to practice, but it's really fun. I love doing it. I always wanted to be, well, that's a lie. I didn't always want to be a painter, but I like painting. I just don't like showing off my paintings. I'm much more, in my opinion, successful with my ceramics. But in comparison, if like I buy really fancy tools for my ceramics, like I bought some banding wheels. Ooh, you hear that voice crack? Some banding wheels that are blue and they spin around, so I could put my pieces on top. Those are pretty expensive, but I invest in my craft, right? So if I was a painter, I would probably buy those fancy brushes because you want to have the best stuff when you're working with it. I'm gonna mix some more paint. I'm gonna use the last bit of this. Now here comes the fun part, me trying to mix that same color. All right. We don't have that much left to cover for the background, right? That looks pretty. That looks pretty solid. I'll put that down. Got paint on my shirt. Called it. Let's do it. Let's mix some paint. So I'm gonna take this. I'm gonna put it in the water so that it doesn't dry out. I don't think it will, but all right. So I'm gonna take my white. Let's get the same color one. Here's the fun part. White. Blue. Bet I won't get this on the first try. I'm going to do a little bit more. Take the big boy, medium boy. I'm going to take a chunk of that. I did add a little of the French ultramarine. We'll mix that. This is it right here. One mix. I guarantee I got the right color. I don't. For those of you watching at home, I do not have the correct color. Needs more of the cerulean blue. Cerulean blue. Boom, boom, boom. Got a big group on Facebook, I think. Or is that Twitch? I can't tell. I gotta move my screen. Now I'm gonna have too much blue. I'll do 2 coats. This is almost the right color. There we go. My heat just shut off. Thank you. I can hear again. I mean, that's not the color, but that's a good color. We're going to go with it. And that water loosening up the paint so I can apply it. I don't want to apply super sticky paint. Oh, I like that color much more than the other one. Glad I mixed a lot of it. So now I'm going to do a quick paint over it. You know, that's good. Now I'm going to have 2 different types of blue in the background. The other one's a little bit more of a teal hint. This is more of a sky blue, which is what I was trying to go for. So, you know, yay. Now this one I'm doing a super thin coat because I already have paint on the canvas. So this super thin coat is just attaching itself to that paint, if that makes sense. Is anyone else painting at home right now? Did anyone else have a random set of water-soluble oil paint? Oh, this I can tell the story about how I won this. So I'm really lucky when it comes to raffles. Fun fact about me. And I was at, what was it for? Oh, I was at Bridgeport Art Center. Has a show for art educators in Illinois. So I had one of my pieces in the show. And they had a raffle. And it was one of those ticket raffles. You know, you take it, and I have a special trick I'm not going to tell you, unless someone asks me, but I'm not going to tell you my trick for winning the raffles. And I won 2 raffles that night. And I got the paint and another paint set. Crazy world. That was my funny story I was going to tell. Boom, boom, boom. Might have to switch to a different brush. A little tight area here. We'll see. Just take your time. I got blue paint on my hand. What time is it? Didn't take long. I don't know if you can hear the rain in the background. That'd be a nice soothing video. Painting with... I do this every time it paints. Every time it rains, I try to do just like a 1-day painting lesson with my students. In my classroom, I have really big windows, so when it rains, you can really hear it. So I'll turn the lights off, so you just have the light from outside. And we'll listen to the rain and make paintings. Super fun. All about adapting your lessons in your art making, you know? Enjoy the little things. When it's painting, it's rainy day painting day, you know? Do I want those 4 stars up there? Not really. Do I want them up there? No. Paint over them. We'll do a pattern in the background or something. And again, that's the great thing about art. Just change up your plans. Why not? This is a very Toy Story blue color. Appropriate, I guess. When I was working on the toy soldier designs, I spent like a couple days looking at different types of toy soldiers that have been made, and like in the real life toys, and then movies and video games and stuff, until I found like some that I liked. They took different parts from different toys, different soldier designs, and then made our own. Pretty generic, you know, it's a toy soldier, but you know, I draw it very specific. You see that? Ridiculous. What brand is this? Blick Essentials. Wow. All right, let me fix my hair tie before I keep going. You see that paintbrush just fall apart? Blick. Come on. You're better than that. Guarantee I just put paint in my hair. If you're just now joining us, we're doing some rainy day paintings here in the Shy. I'll show you where we're at. We're going to do the toy soldier green now. I'll do something in the background. I don't know what yet, but I'll do something. Hold on. My phone's blowing up. What did I just get a text from? Oh. Yikes. Uh-oh. Just got a... Oh boy. Supposedly, just got an article from a friend, colleague, teacher, that schools are going to be closed for the rest of the year in Chicago. Wonderful! I'm sure that's what all these texts are about. Yep. Wow. So if you're in Chicago and you're in school, you're closed for the rest of the year until fall. You know, I do not like this remote learning stuff. I miss my students. I miss my class. I miss being able to teach art in person, especially with CreatiVets too. You know, we had a local program going on before all this happened. And we're doing glass blowing and ceramics and printmaking and drawing. And, you know, I miss everyone. I miss those participants. I'm proud to call them my friends. I miss them. I wish people would, you know, keep staying safe so we can get this stuff done, you know. Get back to helping each other and seeing each other. But... well, that was some sad news. You know what? Can you see it from there? Yeah, you can. Look at this. So because school's canceled, now I'm going to kick it in high gear with some more lessons for CreatiVets and for my students. But I ordered like a bunch of this Bristol paper. So stay tuned. I'm going to be working on two graphic novels. I got a message a friend back on Instagram. He had a proposal for a graphic novel. I'll be working on that now because I got the time, and especially my own Freddie Starr. I'll do a stream on Freddie Starr. I'll talk about how I came up with that story and who it's inspired by. You know what? Shout out to the real Freddie Starr in Chicago. Starr's not his last name, but the real Freddie, singer. If you're watching right now, you're a hero of mine. I'll tell the story about how I came up with that. All right, so I'm going to clean my palette. Now, I'm not strategic at all when it comes to this palette. Painters will start at the edge, you know, work around. I don't do that. I just paint and make a giant mess. So I'm gonna clean off this area. You can keep that paint. I'll just leave it right there. Use this to just kind of move stuff around. Yeah, that worked. And I got it all over my palette or my blade. Don't cut your finger. Don't do that. All right. We'll do the green. This guy looks pretty good. Background's a nice light blue, right? I wanted to be inspired by the Chicago colors. The print, I specifically chose those colors not only because, you know, normally Army men, little toy soldiers are green, but I talked to Richard Casper a lot about this project when we were starting it, the print. We were talking about how, you know, pieces can tell stories, and everything means something if you want it to. So in all of our classes, that's something that I talk about a lot, is just, you know, what do you want to tell the audience? You can tell a whole story without saying a word, because people are going to read into all the choices that you make. Your color, your shape, your form, your lines, your posture, everything. So for those soldiers, the colors were very specific. The teal is the color recognized as the color for PTS, and the green is the color recognized for TBI. So those are two things that we deal with quite a lot in CreatiVets. So we wanted to have that represented in the piece. And then, in you knowing that now, if you have the piece, you can talk about it. Right? That's an easy, like, whoa, that's an awesome print. And you can be like, yeah, well, that print represents, and go into it. Now this is a nice green. Look at that. You see that bright green? I'm going to show you. Look at that. It's like a nice Ghostbusters slime green. I'm going to make a couple different types of green. The prints are just one solid color. That's going to be like a highlight green, right? It's a little bright. I'm going to even add a little bit of white to it. Yes, that's like a really nice bright lime green. And I can use that for like highlights. So the areas where the light's hitting it, that'd be perfect. Okay, I'm going to take all of this blue. Now this is where this paint is awesome, because you can just mix a bunch of it. I'm going to take a little bit. Look at that. That little tiny speck of blue. Can you see this palette? Yeah. And it's going to change the whole green to super dark. I don't know how well you can tell on camera, but it just did. Take a little bit more, just a speck. A little bit of blue at a time. That's the one thing I learned very fast with painting is cobalt, blue, ultramarine, all that stuff changes colors real fast. So again, if you don't want to lose the color you're working with, ease into it. Yeah, that's right. Porsche hosting my stream. Thank you. We really appreciate that. Again, if this is your first time with me, I'm very new to streaming. Very new. 4 weeks in. Pretty proud of where I started and where I'm at now, though. Shout out to Mrs. OEF5 for doing a fantastic stream yesterday. They will be streaming with us on Thursdays doing some cool stuff, so make sure to tune in on Thursdays. They did a very cool make your own face mask stream yesterday. Couple different versions, all right? We like to provide variety depending on what type of tools you're working with at home. But yeah, check that stream out. That was awesome. Make a mask. I just ordered. There's this I guess it's artist shop in California called Local Boogeyman. There's like a bunch of like monster themed stuff. They made a bunch of masks and screen printed things on it, so I bought one of those. Okay, my phone is absolutely going insane because of school. Yikes. Yeah. Okay. So green. Maybe I'll make. trying to think. I don't have black. I could make black. You know how to make black? Mix all the colors together. Brown and blue and orange. I'll just do. I'll wing it. I'll wing it. That's what I like to do. All right, I'm gonna take a teeny tiny brush. I'm gonna take this dip. Break up the paint. Again, I don't want it super thin, but the paint when you mix it is very thick and sticky. You don't want that. Okay. I got it. Uncross my legs for this one. Oh boy. I'm going to spin this painting quite a bit now. And again, I painted the background first, so now when I'm adding that green, if I put the green on top of the blue, it's all good. It doesn't mess up my center of the composition, the focal point. The focal point is the first thing that you see when you look at a painting, right? The main subject. My focal point is the toy soldier. So this is like the base color green I'm using right now. I've got the highlight. When I'm done with painting this, I'll do a little darker of a green. Now it's just the have fun time. Now I might not finish this today. What time did I start? 11:30? It's been an hour. I'll do it for another hour. We'll see where we're at. I might have to put it on pause. We'll do a part 2. Maybe I'll do a part 2 tomorrow. Do a little weekend streaming. Has anyone painted before? People that are watching? Any of you paint your house or paint a sculpture for your garden or make a painting? Curious. Quite a few people on. What is this big number from? I gotta move my thing. Shout out to Facebook. What's going on? Oh, I just got paint in my mouse. What's going on Facebook? I think I started a watch party. Seth just asked me a question about the schedule. 1 second, Seth. Seth, as far as I know, we don't have anything going on tomorrow. Check creativets.org/live later today. We'll make an update. But Rick will be doing songwriting right after me at 1 o'clock. Ooh, I got to jump off. I got 30 minutes. So I got to jump off at 1:30. So at 1 o'clock, I got to jump off at 1. At 1 o'clock, Rick will be on for songwriting. So I've got 30 minutes left. Definitely not going to finish this today. So we'll do a part 2 of this. Like I said, this paint that I'm using, this water-soluble oil paint doesn't dry fast. I'm literally going to leave this uncovered, and it'll be the same. The same wetness when you come back. Like I said, maybe I'll do something tomorrow. I don't think we haven't done that many weekend streams. Usually just during the week. So maybe I'll do a special one tomorrow. Seth. You're talking about painting? What did I say? Seth, you said the guitar guy tomorrow. Was that asking about tomorrow? Oh, paint. I see. I can't read. You were asking if I'll paint the guitar guy tomorrow. I'm going to paint this tomorrow. I got to finish this. Seth also said that you did industrial painting on grain elevators. That's pretty cool. I like that. Yeah, maybe I'll do a limited run of paintings of these. Like I said, I really wish I was a better painter. And again, I preach this with with any subject matter, you know, because like I said, I took a class on everything. I learned how to do everything, or have an understanding of how to try to do something in every medium, so that I can teach it. But you just have to practice, you know. So if I painted every day, I guarantee I'd be a better painter. But I don't paint every day. The guitar soldier, yeah. Great part 1. Thank you, Ms. Zoya. Seth, again, it's, you know, to each his own. You're saying a lot. I bet you paint abstractly better than I do. There's a lot of different types of painting. And I realize this in my painting, I'm very controlled, right? I don't like being loosey-goosey with stuff. I think that's just because I really like ink drawings. It's like very permanent, very clean. But painting's fun, in my opinion. I gotta watch the time now because I don't want to go over and screw up the rest of our schedule. So I'm gonna hop off at 1. Stay on the stream though at 1. Like literally, I'll get off a little bit earlier. But at 1 o'clock, Rick will come on and do some songwriting. So if you want to learn some songwriting stuff, stick on. If you just want to hang out, I'll probably watch the stream, chime in with a couple comments. Please do that. All right, so I painted the paintbrush. And again, same thing with the watercolor. And if you've watched the watercolor one, can you see that? No, you can't. It's all about adding layers, right? So I'll paint this whole thing green. Maybe I'll let it dry so I can add some more stuff on top without having it smudge together. I'm gonna paint. I'm just adding, you know, more paint. The one thing I will have to cover, well, yeah. I'll put like some plastic wrap over this acrylic paint here. Not acrylic. I keep saying acrylic. This oil paint here. I'll put some plastic wrap on the top. Because I'm not so concerned about my painting drying as my paint drying. Because once the paint is dry, like this stuff, I mean, it just gets crusty and gross. You can't use it. The paint on the canvas that I'm applying, if it dries, that's fine. I can just paint over it. So you always want to keep this stuff nice and wet. So I'm going to take my palette knife, kind of scoop it all in one thing. Using lots of stencils, coloring in the lines, good with that, but still honing up the freehand. Yeah, freehand, I mean, you know what? I'll do, if I can find some bottles here, I do this lesson with my 5th graders. I didn't get to this year because of all of the craziness that's going on, but I do this lesson where we listen to jazz music. So I listened to, what was the guy? I forgot. I'll remember it. I'll talk about it in the next stream. But we listen to jazz music and paint the sounds that we see. So I'll put 3 big canvases on the floor, like huge canvases, and put 3 of them, cover the floor in paper, and I'll like suit everyone up in like some painter suits, the white throwaway stuff. And as the music's on, I'll give them like a bunch of bottles and tubes and paintbrushes, and they can just spray it on the floor on the canvases, or drip it, or splatter it, or paint it. That's a really fun way of working. Build up a lot of layers, a lot of color. So abstract's fun. I'm being careful with my painting here. I'm leaving some areas. Hold on, I'll show it. On the finger, you can see that white in there. That's because I'm leaving the areas for the lighter color or the darker color. I'm just doing the base green right now. And I'll fill in all the little white spots with shadows or highlights. And if because if I paint the whole thing green, I'm going to lose all those details. And again, that's my method. Maybe someone else would say paint the whole thing green and then add the details. Again, I like being very controlled, working with it like I would if it was a colored pencil or pen or ink. Just my personal preference. I gotta go to DEFCON 5 when I get off here and figure out what's going on with school. All right. Can you all see that? Yeah, perfect. So part 1 of this video will probably just be like the base color on 75% of this thing. I might continue working on it. Maybe I'll jump on a stream later if I feel highly motivated to keep painting. You know, that's the other thing is sometimes just hair all in my face. Sometimes painting, 2 hours can be a lot, or 2 hours can be like, wow, I just started, I did a stream with the comic page. Can you see? No, you can't see it either. I got a comic. My whole wall. Hold on, let's show this. Shout out to this whole wall of art I got going on. I left it white and blank intentionally so I could cover it with stuff. So when I did this comic stream, you can check that out too. This was Intro to Comics, part 1, I think. I was streaming for 3 hours. Again, very profesh painter. But no, it was just, there was a lot to do on it, and I was just like, no, I'm just going to keep going. I'm just going to crank this out. I didn't even finish it in those 3 hours. And that's the thing is, again, depending on how much you do something, you might take a long time on it, you might take a little time. Totally up to you. And that's okay to, spend 5 minutes on a painting today and then put it to the side and do some more tomorrow. That's totally fine. You do not have to see a project through in one sitting. Work on it. Take a break. That's really important. When I was in school, I worked on like life-size ceramic figures. Maybe I'll do a slideshow stream. I'll show off some work. I'll do that with Zachary. That'd be fun. Do a little talk about our pieces. So I did these life-size, like 6 feet, 7 feet tall ceramic figures. And it took, like a year to make all of them. So as I'm working on them, you have to give yourself breaks because otherwise you get, just stuck. So sometimes I'm working on them and then I would do like little ceramic faces to practice just sculpting something different that wasn't the same thing I was working on. So again, with these streams, if you just jumped in with them or you've been watching them, watch all of them. Because you're like, you might be like, no, I'm not really interested in songwriting, but you watch it and you might really connect with what they're talking about or who's talking. All right, I'll show off. It's looking pretty cool. So again, I'm leaving some white spaces so I can put in highlights and shadows. I'm just doing the base green. It looks a lot darker on camera than it does in real life. It's like a very solid, I'm pretty proud of this color. It's like spot on army green. The belt buckles, the belts are black. So I'll paint the belt buckle, but I'll leave the other thing. I'll have to paint that black. Yeah, I'm going to FaceTime my brother once I get off here. He's a high schooler. I've been keeping track of what he's doing during all this. Now, one thing I'm noticing is the pencil that I used wasn't the most high quality of pencils. So it's definitely smearing into my paint, which I don't mind it because it's adding natural shadows. But again, my painter people out there watching is probably like, look at this rookie drawing with a graphite pencil and then painting on top of it. But whatever. Doing it my way. If I could play music right, I wish I could play music and not get my stuff flagged on YouTube. Play My Way by Frank Sinatra right now. I could sing it, but I'd sound super spot on, and then they'd still flag my video. So I can't do that either. Sorry. Another fun fact about Garrett, as I continue to elaborate on my funny jokes. I was in choir for 2 years. Shout out to the 2 Mr. C's at Lane Tech, where I went to high school. Really fun teachers, really talented guys. Okay, I think I'm going to switch my brush because now I'm away from the little details. I need to kick it up a notch. I'm going to use, you know what? This is like a paintbrush that I got from, you can get this off like Blick or NASCO art supplies. These are great. They're super cheap. But as far as quality and like a very cheap bulk brush, I use these same ones in my class at school. They're fantastic. The bristles are super strong. They don't break off. They hold the paint very well. All right, we got about 20 minutes. I'm going to jump off a little earlier, before 1 o'clock. Rick is going to jump on and do a songwriting stream, so please stay on, watch that. If you know any people that might be interested in songwriting, send it their way. Or bring them here, you know. And I'm not going to paint all the way there because I know I'm going to put a highlight there, so I'm not going to waste my paint. Something that I'm not doing is you can use a bunch of different types of medium to, you know, thicken your paint to make it textured or thin it out so it's super runny. I just don't have that stuff here. But for oil paint, like I said, I could take, and I might do it, take this and just like scrape it on my painting so I have like a really thick layer of paint. But right now I just want to get that base layer of paint color in so I know what I'm working with. And then I'll go back in with texture if I want, or like I said, I'm going to do some highlights and shadows and stuff. Boom. Little booty. Alright, let's show this guy off. Right, so I've got everything but the bottom platform, the belt, and the face. I'm going to do the bottom like stand. I'm not going to even bother with painting the like front of the stand because I'm going to make that really dark. So I'm just going to add the base green to the top part, right? The part that he's actually standing on. And then when I come back in, I'll paint it. Karate Kid Dan! Now following. Kinder Egg now following. What's going on? 2 follows. They said, Garrett, you know, that painting looks so good, we gotta follow. Thanks. And for those of you, I don't know if you just joined, those 2 people that just followed, but stick on the stream once I hop off in about 10 minutes. And Rick is going to do some songwriting. Okay, bottom's done. Hold on. Kinder Egg, you actually said what? Karate Kid Dan asked me if I'm a veteran. I am not a veteran. I am not. If you just jumped on or like, who's this guy? I'm the art director for CreatiVets. I met Richard Casper. He's a Marine. I was the TA for the course in their class at the School of the Art Institute of Chicago. So I was studying art education and ceramics mostly, but like I said, a little bit of everything. And I worked as the TA for the course and became really good friends with Richard and loved the mission. So I'm their art director. But no, I'm not a veteran. That brings up a funny story. I think I have that stuff on my desk. The first class I was in, my name's Garrett. And, that was I was 20 when I started the class. I say started because I turned 21 that summer. But my name's Garrett, so they all called me Garrett 50 cal because it rhymes with Barrett 50 cal, which is a type of gun for people that don't know. But on the last weekend of the program, we all went out for dinner. And, it was my birthday was like the next week, and that would be when everyone was gone. So they surprised me and got me a cupcake with my name on it and a candle. And they got me a gift. And if any of them were watching from that first class I was in, thank you again for that gift. I still haven't used it, but they wrapped up enlistment papers. And they secretly gave it to me, and they were like, "Happy birthday, you can be one of us now." But I still have them. They're in, I think they're in this desk. I just found them because when I moved, I got paint on my shirt. Just saw that. When I moved, I had to shuffle everything, and I found them again. So shout out to that first class I was with. I talked a little bit about that class and what it meant because I made a piece off my experience the first time I worked with CreatiVets. You can check that out on my website, garrettleo.com. I'll post that in the comments. But I made this piece called American Citizens because in the class we talked a lot about, because they joked that I was the civilian in the room. But by the end we talked about what the difference is between a citizen and a civilian, right? So I made that distinction in a piece and talked about how if you're a citizen, you support and understand, or attempt to understand, and are veteran advocates, and a citizen doesn't try or just doesn't know anything about the veteran experience, right? There's a difference. And again, it's all just about your mindset and being educated, seeking that knowledge. So I was very proud to have been made that transition as an artist from a citizen or a civilian to citizen. Okay, so I got paint all over my hands. Got my hair falling all over the place. I got paint on my black shirt that I chose to wear today. This is my new painting shirt. I do that a lot. I'm going to fix my hair one last time. Do a little sign off. So, little recap on today if you just joined us. Thank you to those people that just followed me again. I'm working on a water-soluble oil painting. Right, not normal oil painting. It's a little too low, so I got to put something at the top. I'm doing one of the toy soldiers from the Toy Soldier print. Shout out to CreatiVets with the Toy Soldier print. So if you're interested in one of these, DM me on my Instagram, and I can get one to you. I just shipped out 5 of them. When was that? Friday? Hold on, let's see. Yeah, there you go. I just posted my Instagram in the comments, so go to Manglazed Black. DM me if you want one of those prints. This is part 1 of oil painting or mixed media painting for today. I'm going to jump off so Rick can jump on and do the songwriting. But just did the base layer of the background and the soldier. Next time I'm going to go in with some highlights, some shadows, different colors, different shades of green. I'll talk about shades and tints in the next stream. And we'll work on this little painting. Maybe I'll do a giveaway or I'll auction it, do something with it. I'll figure that out over the time. I'm using water-soluble oil paints. Again, these are super nice. This is the Winsor Newton brand. That's a good brand. I've used the regular oil paints before. If you started from the front, I'm using my paintbrushes, my palette knives. This, I will wrap my paint up. I'll kind of scoop it into blobs, but I want to cover this with like a plastic wrap so that I can keep that paint, right? Not so concerned about this drying. This probably won't dry by the time I stream tomorrow, or whatever day we decide for me to do that. It'll still be wet because it's oil paint. It has a long drying time. So I just want to wrap my paint, make sure my paint doesn't get crusty and gross, right? So thank you all for joining me today. Let me just check. Got still quite a few people on here. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. Like I said, if you want to find out, we haven't updated next week's streaming list, but if you want to, go to creativets.org/live, and you can see any of our past streams. They're on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Mixer. But if you want to get ready for next week, once we start, we'll do that this Saturday, Sunday. We'll post those so you can start to plan out next week. But I do know that next week, Thursday, Mrs. OEF5 is going to do something. I'll definitely be doing some more streaming, so stay tuned for that. With that, hope you all have a great day. Hopefully it's not rainy and gross like it is in Chicago, wherever you're at. And stay safe. And that's it. I'll see you all next time.
We are a nonprofit that's helping combat disabled veterans heal through the arts and music. Our art programs in Chicago and California help combat disabled veterans tell their story through art. We enroll them into the best art institutes in the country. We pay for their tuition, their housing, their food all 3 weeks so that they can finally tell their story through art. We also bring combat disabled veterans to Nashville, to places and rooms like this here at the Grand Ole Opry, to tell their story for the first time with pro songwriters all about the things that they went through that they've never been able to talk about before. These programs have been extremely successful in helping veterans combat their PTSD. Right now, CreatiVets has more veterans applying for our programs than we do funding. So if you can go to creativets.org and donate, we would appreciate it.